Hi, this is Otto. The Bermuda Plein Air group went to Orange Grove this week, and I did this green gate of a house that's near the entrance to Orange Grove. It's not actually Orange Grove itself, and I did this in watercolor, and you can see the different stages of me doing this watercolor. A couple of people said that doing Bermuda stone is difficult, but I've seen a couple of other Bermudians do Bermuda stone quite well. So this is the result of what I did, this green gate in watercolor near Orange Grove. I did a pen and ink sketch of Desmond Fontane's statue of Sir George Somers. This is the St. George's equivalent to Michelangelo's David in Florence. So if you go to St. George's, you have to see the Desmond Fontane statue of Sir George Somers. I was very disappointed when I went to Achilles Bay because I thought it had been completed. They were going to put in steps, and these are the steps. The steps are very steep, and the steps go right down to the level of the sand. If there was a step above the sand, then the steps wouldn't be as steep. Achilles Bay looks very beautiful when you look out at the bottom of the steps, but that bottom step should have been a step above the sand. When you leave the sand, you don't want to take it with you. With it being level like this, it's nowhere to wash off your feet. The old steps were actually underwater at high tide, and even at low tide, the steps started at the part that was slick, and you could actually leave the beach without sand all over your feet. Also, it looks terrible, those broken steps there, so something still needs to be done down there for it to look a lot nicer. This is what it actually looks like looking along the beach, and you can see the steps, and you can see the other steps in the background, and you can see that the bottom of the fort has a hole that looks like it needs some sort of repairs. So I was very disappointed with the politicians posing and making it sound as if this job was finished, because it wasn't very welcoming arriving here. This is a Procreate portrait of David Pawson. He did an 11-part series on the history of the church that was very interesting. I decided I would paint his portrait. This series was done in 1968, and it talked about the history of the church from the time of the apostles through the Reformation and right up to the 1960s. And he talked about a lot of denominations and what they believe in. He said that it's important to know what's really in the Bible and not just what your denomination tells you. Not every church's doctrines can be found in the Bible. A Procreate portrait of Tony Caminetti. He is pastor of Rhema Family Church in Australia, and I can actually watch their 11 o'clock service at 8:30 at night on a Saturday. They do communion every week, they pray, and the worship songs are simple enough for me to join in. I actually did go walking with some Christians that I used to go to church with, and we walked along the trail from Flats all the way up until Devonshire probably. So this is the view that we had along the railway trail. I went to the Bermuda Society of Art where they were having 3 shows. One was their permanent collection, which I wasn't really aware of. Melanio Guzman's exhibition, Caribbean Fusion, had all the works sold. I had to leave before I got a good look at Garden of Light, put on by Bermuda Cancer and Health Center. Charles Lloyd Tucker had at least 3 pieces in the permanent collection, and you can see me between his bust and a watercolor of flats. You'll see that I have done many paintings of flats, some this year. I have done a series of paintings of flats this year, and here you can see me doing some of them. These are all studio pieces. I have worked in a lot more detail, and many of them would take a couple of weeks, a couple of them maybe even a month or more. This is the largest flats one, and you can see the boats that are down at the end of Lazy Corner, and you can see the aquarium in the background. This is one in St. David's. This is around Ballast Point Road. So you're looking east and you're looking over toward the main St. David's Road on the other side. So you can see my interesting week, my green gate, and some of the work from the last couple of months. Let me know if you would be interested in seeing this collection of works of flats and other inlets. And don't forget to like, share, and comment, especially if you want to see these in person. Thanks for watching. Bye.